Little boy dreamed that he shot down the bomber with a slingshot. When he woke up, he was alone with him. At this time, a neighbor's aunt rushed in, hurriedly pushed him out of the window. At last he escaped the enemy's sight. When he looked back, the house was burning in flames. Sergei hid himself in the forest, shouting in fear. He knows he will never see his mother again. He has to be strong, drink the rain, eating wild fruit, use the branch as a weapon. But the danger is still coming. German soldiers appeared in the forest. He had to hide in a tree hole. But look up, a snake is already circling above. Sergei covered his mouth with his hands. He dared not make a sound, because compared to a serpent, the enemy at hand is more terrible. After the German soldiers left, the homeless Sergei can only continue to travel through the forest. But one of his shoes went bad. There's no way. He had to use bark instead. I don't know how long it took. Sergei finally couldn't hold on. He said to the hedgehog beside him with his last strength. Luckily, Sergei was found by a Soviet scout and brought him back to the barracks. When the commander sees the kid, Sergei gave a frightened look. The commander was also amused by the little guy. When everyone asked where his family was, the strong Sergei couldn't control it anymore. The soldiers rushed to comfort Sergei, and then the soldiers sent Serge to a war-zone hospital for treatment. At the hospital, Sergei met a gentle nurse, Miss Katya. The lovely Sergei got used to this place pretty quickly. The appearance of the little guy warmed the cold hearts of the soldiers. Even the commander saw him with a long-lost smile. Sergei wanted to see the gun, so he took his gun off, unclipped the magazine, and let him play. The little guy brings joy to everyone. Katya requested the commander, "Don't let Sergei leave," but the commander turned her down.
Ребенку здесь не место.
Здесь никому не место.
The commander decided to send Serge away. The sensible Sergei did not cry. On the contrary, the commander tried to suppress his emotions, avoiding the eyes of Sergei. As a parting gift, he gave Serge a handmade toy gun. Serge held the commander. A tender voice hammering the commander's heart. Only then did he understand. It's not Sergei who can't live without him. It's that he can't live without Sergei. He asked Serge seriously.
Хочешь быть моим сыном?
When everyone knew that Serge had stayed, the soldiers were very happy. The tailor made a small uniform for him overnight. Put on the uniform. A brave little soldier was born. Good soldier, put on your uniform before these matches go out. 6-year-old Sergei was asked to do the same, but it's obvious. The commander didn't give him a hard time. In his military uniform, Sergei became a rail fighter. He showed off his little suit in the barracks. But war does not become lenient because of children. All of a sudden, at the end of a fierce battle, Serge finally realized the ruthlessness of the war. A soldier who used to be laughing, the next second he's dying. The sensible Sergei ran into the tent. With a straight face, he put away his childlike innocence, doing what he could. He also sings to everybody. A tender voice. Let every soldier who misses his hometown burst into tears. Because the war was so fierce, the number of wounded soldiers is also increasing. On this day, Serge pulled daddy. He wanted to thank the tailor in person, who made his uniform, but he didn't expect it. All he saw was the bombed sewing machine. Sergei took off his hat in imitation of his father. From now on, he wanted to be a soldier who shared all the worries. Not only that, Serge also shaved himself like an adult. He saluted the soldiers when they passed by. He said, "That's what a real man looks like." Subsequently, he came to the commander's camp. He asked to be a commuter soldier. Here it is. He got his first assignment. Send home letters to the soldiers. When the soldiers saw Serge, they all came round. Those who are late for the letter will be punished by dancing. It didn't take long. Serge once again brought letters from home to the fighters. But the soldiers, who danced happily last time, have already died. He took off his hat slowly, to pay homage to the brave soldiers, and then bowed his head and sadly departed. On this very day, Sergei went on patrol in imitation of a scout. He looked around with the binoculars. All of a sudden, there's a moving boot in the haystack. He hurried back to the camp. Report the information to the captain. The captain quickly went to check it out. To get the enemy out, they set fire to the haystack. There were 2 German investigators lurking inside. Several men combined to subdue the enemy. Watch the captured radio station. The captain was taken aback. This is to give the enemy bombing coordinates. If it hadn't been for Sergei, the consequences are unimaginable. Sergei did a great job, but he has no ego. When the commander found out about it, he was proud of his son. Soon after, the German army launched a heavy attack on the position. After many wars, Sergei grew up very fast. He was dragging a caisson heavier than himself. Send supplies to the soldiers. The soldier was grateful to him. Still, he's not supposed to be here.
Боец, Шишкин, выполняйте приказ. Шагом марш!
Есть, выполнять.
Back at the command post, Sergei heard the correspondent say, the cable equipment has been blown up. Looking at his anxious dad, Sergei, regardless of the danger, break out of the command post. 6 years old. He is on a mission. The bomb exploded right next to him. Even if he's scared, he still hasn't stopped. He's going to connect the destroyed phone lines. The dying correspondent taught him how to connect a telephone line. He crossed the broken wires with each other. Communication was finally back to normal. The battle was reversed. This time Sergei made another big contribution. Soon after, a confidential letter from the superior. The troops need to be moved off the front, all the way through the obstacles. Finally assembled with the main army. On this day, Sergei received his assignment from his dad as before. What he's going to do this time is check uniforms and equipment. When the old soldiers saw such a cute little soldier, they loved Sergei very much. One of the soldiers gave him chocolates. Face the temptations. Sergei still held his nerve.
Я выполняю приказ командира, товарища Кузнецова. Постройте бойцов для проверки.
The soldiers assembled quickly. Serge checks. He can't write. Let the company commander take down the names of the soldiers for him. The detailed list was then handed to the general. Dad was incredibly proud of his son. The general asked Sergei what reward he wanted. He wanted his father to marry Nurse Katia. Beyond his expectations, the general immediately agreed to Sergei. At night, father and son were chatting. All of a sudden, be bombed by the enemy. Sergei jumped into the trench. The commander was buried under a heavy load. He's trying to save dad. At a young age, he gave it his best effort. Can't move a log. He hastened to call his comrades in arms. Fortunately, the rescue was timely. The commander's life is not in danger. Looking at the wounded dad, Sergei couldn't hold back his tears. He's not afraid to bleed, not afraid to die. He was afraid of losing his family again. For Sergei's heroism on the battlefield. After the battle, the general presented him with the Medal of Honor. This is a film based on a real event. Was the youngest hero of the Soviet Union's Great Patriotic War. The original character is called Sergei Oleshkov. War is cruel, but the brutal war did not deprive children of their natural naivety. The cold cannonball did not destroy the truth that the child believed. No one will belong to war. Peace to the world. I'll see you next time.